Across the galaxy, among the many star systems and countless worlds, stories of the Deathworld Cadets circulated like legends whispered in dark corners. The term itself was born from fear and awe, used to describe a particular breed of human, soldiers, young, fierce, and forged in the harshest conditions known to their species. Alien diplomats and commanders shared hushed warnings when discussing humans, emphasizing the brutal environments their cadets survived before ever seeing a battlefield. For most species, the concept was baffling. Why would a civilization send its youth to endure such merciless conditions? What could possibly prepare them for war better than the technology and training provided by their advanced academies? But those who underestimated the Deathworld Cadets did so at their own peril. The story began on a human colony world known as Rikara 4, a planet so hostile that its very surface seemed designed to kill. Rikara was a crucible of deadly storms, poisonous flora, and fauna with razor-sharp instincts. It was called a death world because the ecosystem was unrelenting. Any mistake could be fatal. Yet this planet was home to one of the most elite military academies the humans had ever established. Young recruits arrived from all over the solar system, sent there by their families or governments to prove their worth. The academy itself was not just a school. It was a test of survival, discipline, and sheer grit. Training on Rikara 4 was an endless cycle of physical challenge, mental endurance, and harsh lessons delivered by instructors who never hesitated to push cadets to their limits. The first lesson any visitor would learn when setting foot on Rikara 4 was to respect the environment. The planet's weather could change in moments, from scalding heat to freezing cold, from calm skies to violent lightning storms that seemed to rip the atmosphere apart. Cadets were taught to use the landscape to their advantage, to recognize the subtle signs of danger before it became a threat. One such cadet, a young man named Liam, quickly made a name for himself. On his very first training mission, he led his squad through a canyon during a sudden acid rainstorm. Most teams would have sought shelter or been incapacitated, but Liam's quick thinking and knowledge of the terrain saved his team's lives. It was a display of instinct and leadership that would become a hallmark of Deathworld Cadets. Meanwhile, other alien species often scoffed at the idea of such primitive training. They boasted about their virtual simulators, neural implants, and centuries of warfare experience without the need for such brutal conditions. But the humans' real-world resilience baffled them. A delegation from the Amari Collective, known for their sleek technology and cerebral tactics, visited Rikara 4 with skepticism. They observed the cadets enduring a grueling obstacle course filled with hostile creatures native to the planet. The cadets fought with bare hands, knives, and improvised weapons, relying on agility, endurance, and sheer will. The Amari were unimpressed at first, until one cadet survived an ambush by a pack of venomous skelogs by using the environment against them, turning a deadly attack into a trap. The Amari delegation left quietly, their confidence shaken. The Deathworld Cadets were more than fighters. They were survivors conditioned to operate under extreme stress and unpredictability. Their training emphasized adaptability, creativity, and most importantly, teamwork. These qualities were drilled into them daily, because death on Rikara 4 was rarely caused by enemies alone. It was the planet itself that was the greatest adversary. One of the instructors, a grizzled veteran named Captain Royce, explained to a group of alien observers, "We don't just teach them to fight. We teach them to live when every second counts, when the odds are stacked against them. That's why Deathworld Cadets aren't just soldiers, they're legends." The real test came when the Galactic Union called upon the Deathworld Cadets during a crisis on a disputed mining colony in the Orpheus sector. A rebel faction, allied with a violent mercenary group, seized control of the colony's vital resource facilities. The Union's regular forces struggled to contain the insurgency. The Union Council decided to deploy a contingent of Deathworld Cadets alongside veteran troops. Many doubted the cadets' readiness for such a mission. After all, they were still in training and young. But the commanders had little choice. Landing on the mining colony, the cadets immediately showed their value. The terrain was rocky and riddled with hidden dangers, old mining tunnels, unstable caverns, and unpredictable weather. The cadets navigated it all with a calm that unsettled the mercenaries. One of the squad leaders, Mara, led a small team through a narrow cave system to flank a heavily fortified enemy position. The mercenaries had expected a straightforward assault, but the cadets used their survival training to turn the terrain into an ally. They avoided traps, set ambushes, and communicated silently with hand signals and prearranged codes. Within days, the cadets and their allied forces regained control of the colony, inflicting heavy losses on the enemy with minimal casualties on their side. News of the operation spread fast through galactic channels. The Deathworld Cadets, though young and inexperienced compared to veteran soldiers, had proven their mettle against ruthless enemies. Alien commanders began to reassess their assumptions about the human military system. Many species sent envoys to study the Rykara 4 Academy, hoping to learn how humans cultivated such resilience. Some tried to replicate the training environments, but none could capture the unique blend of toughness, instinct, and unyielding spirit that defined the Deathworld. Cadet years passed, and the cadets grew into formidable warriors and leaders. Their experiences on Deathworld shaped them into soldiers capable of surviving and thriving in the most hostile environments. Their reputation preceded them, a testament to human adaptability and tenacity. One such cadet, now a captain named Joran, addressed a gathering of alien military leaders during a joint training exercise. "We don't survive because we are stronger or faster," Joran said calmly. "We survive because we refuse to give up. When everything is against us, we find a way forward. That's the lesson of every Deathworld cadet: adapt, endure, overcome." From then on, whenever a new conflict erupted in the galaxy, whenever a mission seemed impossible or the terrain hostile beyond measure, the Deathworld cadets were the first called. Not because they wielded the most advanced weapons, but because they had mastered the art of survival. The galaxy learned that to face humans was to face a species born in adversity, hardened by a world designed to kill, and shaped by a relentless will to live. And so the lesson every alien species learned about Deathworld cadets was simple yet profound. Strength was not just muscle and firepower. It was the will to endure, the mind to adapt, and the courage to face death and keep moving forward.